What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's Off the Air, immediately following NXT Battleground from Las Vegas. Crazy show tonight. Stoked to get into it. Sweetest crew in the game hanging out with me. And first and foremost, I gotta wish Drizzy a happy anniversary because he's not here. But if Drizzy's not going to be here, we needed an ample replacement for Big Driz. So we went out and we got one straight from Sunday Night Spotlight. Our good friend Megan. What is going on? Welcome to Off the Air,
Hi.
Megan.
Hi. I'm just glad to be here. I can't wait to break down Battleground. I mean, it was a really good pay-per-view. So just thank you for inviting me.
Such a fun show. And of course, anytime. You're welcome anytime. No doubt about it, Megan. Thank you for being here. But of course, I got to introduce it's not Tuesday, but get the twos up. It's the Tuesday Night Delight himself. Shoddy working overtime today, morning, noon, and night.
Throwing them deuces up, man. I am doing great. And I'm glad, ladies first, you let Megan get the introduction before me. If
Of
you
course.
didn't, I was probably going to curse you out live in front of all of our commenters. Let's get into the show.
Let's get into the show. By the way, complete botch. Megan was on Sunday Night Spotlight this morning as well,
Yeah.
which obviously aired this afternoon. So both morning, noon, and night. That's on me too. I did
Yeah,
actually even botch it anyway. I got
we
to admit
working
it
hard
myself.
over here. Well, we all did 2 shows today. So
Yes.
everybody in the
Absolutely.
comments, throw the twos up for us because
Throw the
everyone worked
twos
Amen.
up.
double time.
Thank you.
100%. Okay, crazy main event tonight. We got some crossover action. Forbidden Doors being opened in Las Vegas. We're
Yes.
at the UFC Apex. We've got TNA
That's
star
so.
Ethan Page, former AEW star Ethan Page. We all know his history. And whoop that Trick. Trick
What?
Williams. Awesome main event tonight. I enjoyed it. Finish felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. At least from where I was sitting, like this was a match that, it took a long time in a good way, led to
Mhm.
that big table spot. We had the huge running power slam, technically, that Ethan Page reversed to slam Trick through the table. I thought that was a key moment in the match. Trick hits the knee, and then it's ball game. I assumed we might have a build for the next step with this TNA and NXT partnership. We didn't exactly get it, but I wasn't exactly disappointed by the match. Megan, what were your thoughts on it as a whole?
Um. Well, I mean, I just I love the difference that Ethan Page does bring to the table. I felt as though he was a good competitor. He's a good competitor for Trick. And I'm hoping that the feud doesn't just end with this match. I would love to see them two face each other again somewhere down the line. But Trick is my champion. I knew he was gonna take that dub. I knew he was gonna win. So, better luck next time for
Yeah.
Ethan.
I mean, honestly, that entrance too in Vegas with the production value in the
Yes.
Apex was off the charts. Don't get me wrong. Booker T's ad libs tickle me every single time, but
Right.
it
Oh
hits
yeah, they
different
they
when you
ampl-
have
they
that kind of
amplify the experience.
when you have that kind of lighting. I mean, the Apex is a sound stage, and I
Yeah.
can't go this entire show without mentioning how great the production value was with that amount of cameras, with that kind of audio, all of that. Like we talk about production often in the reviews at Wrestling
Hmm.
Republic, and this was one of those that it was off the charts. And when you're talking about NXT, right, we're working with younger wrestlers, a lot of talent on the green side, and not in a negative way, but in a new to the business way, right? And to have this level of production on a PLE on a Sunday afternoon, I thought was sublime. And Trick's entrance was, to me, as good as it gets, right? The entire crowd chanting behind him, the lighting, all of it, the pyro, I thought was excellent. And like you said, I really hope this is only chapter one, because I'd love to see a rematch between these two. Ethan Page looked as good as you can look in a match taking a
Yeah,
loss tonight, and
yeah.
that goes without saying. Shadi, I got to ask you though, your thoughts on tonight's main event, and then the future of that NXT World Championship. Do you see more crossover talent if it's not Ethan Page? Do you see a different TNA star maybe potentially stepping into that role here in the coming months?
Yeah. Let me break down the first part. Great, like two questions on there, by the way. Um, the Ethan Page loss doesn't bother me too much, and it being substantially a clean loss, just because the match before, which we will talk about, the other uh main title match, kind of had a finish that was distraction. So having two finishes that would have been similar, I was honestly thinking that Noam Dar or Mensa would find a way to create a distraction uh to make Ethan Page lose. But him losing clean doesn't hurt, because I think we can't take the title away from Trick this like soon. He just got the title, and we got to let him run and be the face of it, because he is the face of NXT. He is over as anything at the moment. These fans love him. His presentation is A1, and he's very like vastly improved in the ring. I think he's a solid in-ring worker. I think him and Ethan Page had a very good bout. Physical. Ethan Page is a guy who had a great first showing in his first WWE match coming from AEW, right? On the NXT brand. I think he did well, like you said, in a loss. And Vic Joseph kind of said something very telling. His ego got to him. The reason he
Mhm.
lost is because he got distracted by his ego arguing with the referee. This is something that we can go to, and this is a way where how is he going to control that ego down the road, right? He's going to have to climb the ladder getting back to the NXT championship, and it's a good way to utilize him, man. There's a lot of talented competitors in the men's division on NXT that he can mix it up with. So I don't think this is the writing on the wall for him to be NXT champ is not done. I think he is definitely going to be in the main event picture, and I don't think this is the last time we'll see them wrestle. Now, the second question was, is there talent on that? What is the forbidden portal? What did Jordan Grace call it? The prohibited
Yeah.
portal. They're calling it the prohibited portal. I'm sorry. Tony Khan got the forbidden door. This is the prohibited
The
portal, guys.
unavailable avenue.
The unavailable avenue. I like that. Um, yeah, there is a lot of guys on TNA that I would like to see him work with. You mentioned Moose. That is a very talented, strong competitor that is a champion over there at TNA. I think him and Trick could be fun. I think he's a vet as well. That'd be cool. A champion versus champion without, the championship belts on the line, but having that as a type of match. Um, you know, Nick Nemeth, right? A guy we saw
Oh,
Ash by Elegance here tonight.
Yeah.
Why not get Mr. Nick Nemeth back? He's been an NXT champion. I wouldn't mind seeing Dolph back in the on the NXT match and having a match with Trick, because I think they could have a really solid bout against each other. Josh Alexander is a different style clash. Like
great
there's a
call.
lot of talented like main event guys on TNA that if you do want to have this partnership, I'm here for it, because when we get to talking about that match, I think it benefits these young superstars a lot. Like Jordan Grace benefited Roxy a lot tonight. Those people can benefit Trick, because I think meaningful victories is something that solidifies a competitor and a champion. And Trick's character work and who he is as a character is already spot on. Once we get more, believability of him being a person that's beating people that, Mello was a big one. Continue getting these big dubs. Um, that's just gonna stamp him as a superstar. So yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm with you. And honestly, we could talk about the TNA and NXT crossover stuff for the rest of the evening. But in our main
yeah.
event, we're going to cover Jordan Grace and that matchup. And I think that's going to be the time for that part of the conversation without question. But we do have a bunch of comments over here on YouTube to get to. Coach 23 with the UFC Apex had that intimate setting. Yes, it did, man. It looked so
We
good, I thought.
we were talking about it in on the watch along, me and Clark, and that was what we were saying. I think the intimate, smaller crowds make very good shows, especially on like TV on a pay-per-view, because like you
Right.
don't like these big crowds, man. You see these people going to events to just f around and like heckle and stuff like that. These
Yes.
people came and paid their money because they wanted to see a wrestling show, and they got a wrestling show.
That Apex is set up just it's a special venue. I had the opportunity to go there one time, and it's pretty amazing. It's a world class venue. You've almost never seen anything like it. The gym, the facility on the side, but it's a sound stage, truly, and you can fit more people than you realize in there, and then everything else about it is basically a Hollywood set. Right, there's more resources than you'd get in almost any other venue. Right, it's just bigger than a high school gym, just smaller than, maybe a larger collegiate gymnasium, essentially. But it's got more camera angles, lighting, pyrotechnic stuff that you could ever toys to play with for production's sake than you can stuff in one place. And it really is cool to see the WWE go there, and it's cool that NXT had the opportunity to go there. That's something that I thought was really special. I mean, you look at the UFC could have done last night's show at the Apex. They went to Louisville, sold it out 19,000. We got NXT in the Apex tonight, and that's a very cool.
And I believe they almost sold out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they did. Absolutely. We've got a few more comments really quick, and we're not going to get super back into the TNA thing, but our good friend of the show, Bobby Batito, with I'd like to see Trick Williams wrestle against TNA wrestlers in the future. Absolutely. He also suggested Matt Cardona. Okay, that'd be a little funky, but he's not exactly TNA, but
I like
why
that,
not
but
while we're up? Shout out Bobby Batito. And then Coach 23 added that Josh Alexander would flourish in NXT. And then Chris
anywhere really.
LeClaire. Everything on NXT was good except the main event. Ooh, I didn't. I would disagree. I thought everything was good. I mean, there was a few.
I didn't dislike it, but it may have been my least favorite match on the whole card.
But I think that's a testament to the rest of the card. My only complaint about the main event is the abrupt finish. Realistically, right? Who am I to say that there's anything?
Like I said, I had stepped out the room, so by the time I came back, Trick had already won.
Yeah.
So it was very abrupt. It was a very quick ending.
To me, it was just the speed of the finish, but other than that, the match was back and forth the whole way. Yeah. Both guys in it. It was competitive. What more can you ask for? The lead-in was great. Both entrances were solid. Although I will say, Ethan Page music. Let's get him something cooler.
That's
you don't like it?
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
I thought it was okay.
It was alright. It wasn't bad. Honestly, I don't even remember what his theme song was in AEW.
That's what I was saying. I didn't remember his AEW theme
I just
song
think
either.
They could have done something a little bit more like, no pun intended. I almost just said impactful. I'm like, we're talking TNA. That's woof. That's bad. Okay, let's move on to our next segment. This is something that I truly cannot complain about. This North American women's ladder match was absolutely off the charts.
Yeah.
All 6 women, like, this was thank you. Everything. It to me, Shad, you said it best when we were watching it during the match. You looked up at one point and you go, it doesn't matter who wins this. And I was like, man, you can't say that in wrestling very often.
No.
You really can't, especially with 6 people in the ring. It doesn't matter who wins this. In a positive way, not in a negative way, not in like I don't want to see, but all 6 were viably competitive for the length of the match. It was so well booked. And the strength of this women's division and the booking in this women's division, it's off the charts. Megan, I got to ask you, obviously, we have Kalani Jordan with the win. Kalani, I think, huge, great pick to get the win. Sol Ruka, a lot of people had their money on Sol Ruka coming in, and she had 2 of those great spots with that. I mean, that Soul Snatcher. What What in the world? That's not
Nasty work.
that's one of those moves. Like I don't have the dexterity to press enough buttons to pull it off in the video game. Let alone do a backflip and hit a cutter in real life. But Kalani Jordan with the win, I feel like that's the story of the match. And then everybody else looks so great. How cool is it to have this mid card title in the women's division on NXT?
Well, I might be in the minority, but I Kalani was definitely not my pick for winning this
Not your pick.
match. Happy for her. I'm happy for her, but I was definitely looking at Soul. Mate, I thought it would have been a little rushed if they gave it to Jada, but definitely Soul or Lash. Like those are my choices. So when I saw Kalani win, you know, I was happy for women's wrestling, but I wasn't sold on her being champion. But um overall, I mean, the match just it just showed each and every one of their abilities and their talent, and there wasn't a dull moment throughout the whole entire match. And this is one of the few things that I do try to promote the most on social media, is just to give these women the proper respect that they deserve as wrestlers, because they're showing you they are just as talented as their male, you know, colleagues, their competitors. Um, and I think that match definitely it showed that. It showed the strength of the women's division of NXT. So outside of that, I enjoyed every bit of the match. I was hurt. I was hurt that my girl Lash, she got jumped by everybody. You know, it's something with us tall girls. You know, we have to stick together. And so, you know, if she's seeing this, girl, I'm sending you nothing but healing prayers. You know, we gonna get you that title, girl. Don't you worry. We're gonna get that title. But congratulations to Carlotti. She does deserve it though.
I love it,
She
Megan. And I
deserves
will
it.
say, to your point, the fact that it took all 5 other competitors in the
It
match
sure did.
to throw Lash Legend out of that
The
ring.
gorilla presser.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's one of the best spots. I thought, to me, it was the match of the night. And
I
one of
think
my
so.
least
I
favorite,
could go with that.
yeah, one of my least favorite cliches and tropes in pro wrestling is the like get your stuff in one. Every
Yes,
single competitor in this one got their stuff in, and it
yes,
happened organically in the best way humanly possible. Everybody
absolutely.
shined at various points, and I thought that was the beauty of the match as a whole. It
Yes,
Yeah.
really did feature all 6 women. That's really hard to do with 6 wrestlers in any match. And with one this
hmm,
valuable, the opener right out of the gates too. Right? This was, you talk about opening with an absolute banger. We opened with an absolute banger of a match.
yes.
Mhm.
To
It was a
me,
good match.
I saw basically no flaws. Um, I changed my pick 15 times, I think, over the last 5 Tuesdays to win this match. At one point, I had picked Kalani Jordan, but I cannot take credit because I changed my pick
You
since then.
changed. Oh,
Yeah, so I can't take any credit. I was right at one point, but wrong now. Shad, though, I got to ask you about the match as well, man. This is, to me, we've talked about this for a long time. It's the best booked women's division in wrestling, right?
without a without a
It
without a
truly
doubt.
is.
Let me just say something one thing
Go
real
right ahead.
quick. 529. I tweeted, I really want her to win gold, man. And she
Got him.
responded soon. She manifested
mm,
it.
she
Good
sure
job,
did.
Lonnie. Kalani Jordan, fan of the show, I would hope. Manifested it.
Friend
Um
of the
I
show.
I really like the match a lot. And it goes back to like me sounding like a broken record. The NXT women's division is the bread and butter of the entire show. And you just continuously see week upon week how much depth they have in this division. And it's like an embarrassment of riches at this point, bro. Like all those women are positioned weekly as either great characters or great in ring competitors, and they all do something different as in ring competitors, and it's super impressive to just see how much they're kind of being thrown in the fire as much as you develop and grow as you're going through the business and being in the PC. Like what besides Mia Yim and maybe like I think Fallon Henley's from the Indies too. Some of all three of them girls are just D1 athletes that became professional wrestlers when they got into the WWE, and for them to kind of be this good this quickly, like so Ruka, I always say she's got Charlotte Flair like potential in her with fluidity, athleticism, and all of that, and she showed out tonight. Kalani Jordan won the match, but she had a lot of high spots in the match as well and played very good underneath. Lash Legend, I can't even stress how like proud of I am to her. Like from where she started on NXT to where she is now, the development is amazing. Like she's really stepped up and has been clicking on all cylinders and look really great tonight, man. Fallon Henley showing as a consistent
Yep.
competitor, and then Mia Yim, reminding people that she can still do this too. Like they don't use her a lot on the main roster. She got to maybe she woke up Nick Aldis out there on SmackDown and be like, hey, you need to get me in some matches because I can go and I can do stuff. And I thought it was great, man. Kalani winning as much as I like I put the tweet, I wanted her to win. I was still surprised. Um, I thought this was gonna be like Megan said. I thought it was either Sol Ruka for being, the hot hand that she has and the human highlight reel and them having the backing for her, or Lash just who's consistently prominently in storylines and is a great character. But Kalani being the inaugural champion makes sense. She's someone that's put in a lot of work, had a strong showing in the breakout tournament as well. And I'm curious to see how we separate who is in this North American division and who is in the NXT women's division. Because if this does happen, I do see Soul probably being someone that goes against Roxanne, maybe at a heat wave. You never know. The same with Lash too. So we'll have to wait and see. But all in all, phenomenal match, man.
Absolutely. I agree, man. And like you mentioned Mia Yim. And
Yeah.
I said earlier how all six women in this match stood out. Mia Yim wearing not her traditional ring gear
Hmm.
and coming out and putting on a show the way she did. She was a little bit in some ways the ring general of this match. She was involved in
Oh, without a
so
doubt.
many spots and in the center of the
Yeah.
ring often. And it was a different side. I think she did as much for herself. It, one of my biggest takeaways from the match was what have we been doing with Mia Yim and Mi Chin? If this is what
Mm.
she's capable of in a six-person ladder match, six-woman ladder match,
Mhm.
I
She
where has
shine.
this been?
She shines in these type of matches too, man. Like I'll never forget the Queen of the Mountain match on TNA before she went.
Oh,
Such a good match. She had such a good showing, and Jordan Grace was in there. I think Mickey Jane, like she was killing it that match, and she's someone who like I don't know, like the Mia Yims, the Zelina Vegas, they get lost in the shuffle, but it's frustrating because
Yeah.
like they're really talented. Like
so
yeah,
true. And it's interesting to me because if you look at the other five, think about the time between the breakout tournament and now, building Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, those stars from
yeah.
the breakout tournament until now to put on this match on this stage is nothing short
Hmm.
of remarkable. That's almost once in a lifetime type stuff.
Jada Parker will have her time for sure. Like
Oh,
she's hella popular. Like people, she goes
Right.
viral
She
every
is.
time. Yeah,
She is.
yes. We've got an
and
interesting comment
yeah,
from Nick Cologne here. What do you think of Ariana Grace as Kalani's first defense? Would be a legit contender and someone who's worked hard on her character and deserving of a title shot? I don't
like it.
mind that.
I
I
like
actually
it.
don't mind
I
that
think.
But you're
because
gonna
I
want me to
think
get
she
Ariana
deserves.
Grace to be champ though.
that's the only I was gonna say. I'm like, I don't mind it for first defense only because there wasn't necessarily a logical direct to market defense built out of the ladder match here. Like all five could be legitimate contenders. And what are we going to do? Here's another tournament for the new number one contender? No. So Ariana Gray steps in as we kind of reassess the state of the other five in the match's character. That makes sense. We can build from there, right? From a booking standpoint, I get that. And then you build up maybe whether it be Lash Legend. Not that they need to be built further, but you build towards, right? Kalani Jordan defending against one of the other five women in this match, and the big payoff, whether it be the next takeover or PLE, whatever it may be, or even one of the special edition NXTs, because that's one of my favorite things that NXT does. Shot, as long as we've covered it, like the Halloween Havoc type stuff, the spring break-in,
spring
things like that. I enjoy that actually.
New Year's Revolution
makes a random Tuesday night feel more special, and why not? Who would that hurt? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Let's talk tag team wrestling though, really quick. Let's talk about Axiom and Nathan Frazier against the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers, the OC, whatever you'd like to call them, one of the best set of pandemic podcasters you could find. They were out there putting stuff out in the 2020s like it was nobody's business.
Yeah, they were.
and good for them. I listened to most of it. But
Crazy
I'm just
to see him there now.
The Good Brothers and Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Axiom and Nathan Frazier are human comic book characters at the end of the day, and I appreciate that. A-Kid Axiom, can we give this guy a real name? He's so good. He's so dang good. And I even like the mask. I like the pairing. But like, this guy's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Like, he's been a math character, and then A-Kid. Like, come on. Let's give this kid a shot, because he's so good. And this match was really good. Bell to bell. What more do you expect? To me, it looked as Carl Anderson was as motivated as he's been in the ring, as I've seen all year, at least in 2024, and Gallows as well. The apron spot.
Carl Anderson thought he was in the Tokyo Dome for a second.
Yeah, shoddy. Obviously, we have Axiom and Frazier go over. But what do you think about the future of the tag division here in NXT?
They need to create more serious competition in the tag division. That would be my take. I think they have a lot of tags. I mean, they got Bronco and Nima. They got Tyreek and Tyson also. You got Idris, Anofe, and Malik Blade. Like, you got some skilled tag teams. It's just a lot of them are fairly green. But, man, if they can really build up Idris and Malik, I think them versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier could be a very fun feud and a very fun match. I know they've ran it before, but, like, adding more of a battery to those two's back would be great. But in regards to tonight's match, it was a very well wrestled match. I mean, like you said, Carl Anderson looked like he was having fun out there. Like, he got to wrestle. He felt like he was in the Tokyo Dome for a second, because Frazier and Axiom are that good. Like Axiom is his athletic abilities, as much as you mentioned with doing in jiu-jitsu and whatnot. It's top notch, and it's also the fact that he's just I don't know, he covers all grounds. And then Nathan Frazier, like, I know that he is a student of Seth Rollins, and he's got a lot in that repertoire and book from Seth. So all in all, solid. I figured that they were gonna retain. The Good Brothers are tied with the whole AJ stuff, so they'll probably go back to SmackDown. But part of me wishes they would have been cool if they would have won, because I think they would have been a good asset for a lot of these young teams that they can learn a little bit. But not bad. I definitely think that Axiom and Frazier, that's a big reputable victory for them.
100%. And honestly, it's funny because I think both of us would have not said the same thing headed into the match, but it was post-match. It was the motivation that we saw out of Anderson and Gallows that makes us both feel that, like, because I'm in agreement on it would have been a great asset at veteran leadership wise, but it was the fact that they looked both fully engaged in this match. I thought it was as good as they've looked bell to bell in ages. Yeah. We've got some really fun comments over here on YouTube really quick. Two that I want to get to. One from our good friend Coach 23, which is, I wouldn't be surprised if Gallus beats Axiom and Nate Frazier in the coming weeks. Gallus, I asked you earlier, who are they? What are they? I get it, but no, I'm not ready for
My
that
bad.
just
I
yet,
was cutting a Wendy Chu
personally.
promo for a second. My fault.
Now, this one though, I'm a little bit interested in. Not a little bit. I'm a lot of bit
Gallus is
interested in.
boring.
Hang
Gallus is
on.
boring. We have to
Bobby
say that.
Petito with It'd Be Nice to See. ABC. Ace Austin and Chris Bay show up in NXT against Frazier and Axiom.
Yes. Sign me up for
Wouldn't that
that.
be human pinball machine?
I'd rather see that than see Gallus.
That could give people epilepsy, but it would be
Yeah, no, that
it would be electric.
that go
It
hard.
would be. It would be
I
a
don't
You
good
know
know.
what?
match.
It would
That
be.
that or if they were to go against it, like I don't even know, they're not even a tag team, but like Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus them two would be fun too.
Ooh, they're just
Yeah,
bouncing off the walls. Everybody,
Yeah,
it's humans flying through the air.
yeah, that'd
that
go
would be
hard.
fun.
Yeah, Cirque du
That
Soleil
would
in a
be.
wrestling ring. I'm for it.
Yeah,
Like, we have Reggie as special guest referee. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I went too far there. Huge fan of scripture.
Sydney Akeem, bro, that's his name now, man.
Okay, let's talk about our ropeless match. The one that I was looking most forward to, though. The one that I was
Mm,
fired up about in the Apex. A fighter's fight, a fight between fighters. All we've ever asked for. I saw all the online comparisons about blood sport and all kinds of different stuff,
yes,
whether it be a Ronda Rousey or things like that. I don't care what anyone says. This was my favorite version of that yet. I'll even bring up Jake Hager and Wardlow, two guys that should have got this right. Did it inside of a cage on a dynamite and didn't. Plenty of times we had underground on Raw for 5, 6 months. We had all kinds of stuff like this. This was absolutely correct. Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler put on a show of shows.
they
Lola
sure
Vice
did.
goes over via technical knockout. I loved it. Megan, were you in agreement? I am an MMA fan. So did you feel the same as a wrestling fan?
I felt that Shayna should have won. I cheered her on from beginning. I knew Shayna was going to win. I just knew it in my heart she was going to win. But I have definitely grown a new level of respect for Lola Vice as a wrestler. When I first got introduced to her, she was what I call her on Twitter, always dancing. Always, every
Yep.
time you saw her, she was holding her jaw, shaking her hips. She was holding her neck, shaking her hips. And I was just like, who is this girl? I don't know her. But just watching her ability, whether people agree with me or not, I feel like she has Natalia and she has Shayna to thank for helping to push her in such a format. For those who is not familiar with her MMA history, to see her talent, just to see her in this match less than 2 months apart from each other and defeating both women that you would probably consider legends within their own right. And she beat both of them. And now I feel like Shayna has this, excuse me, Lola has this reputation of where she is unbeatable. And, I love that for her. And I would honestly love to see, a title shot in the near future for her as well. But her and Shayna's match 10 times better than Shayna and Ronda. Um, that does speak a lot on Ronda and her ability to carry a match. And yeah, I think it was one of the best matches tonight. Absolutely, hands down.
Clark, you good?
Oh, we lost him. Is
Yeah,
he on mute?
yeah, nah, we lost him for a split second. Um, yeah, he technical difficulties. It's all good. It was not happening prior to it. Let me put the right one.
Right.
But no, I totally agree, and I'm gonna just cut it to myself because that's what Clark will probably would have passed it on to. Well, first let's get a comment in. Coach 23 saying that if Lola's face is a face moving forward with this win, she could step up to Roxanne's next challenger. I am
Yeah.
not mad at. I'm not mad at that.
I would want that match. I would love to see that match. I think like I said, I feel like Lola has definitely you know, I'm just a spectator. I'm just somebody that's watching wrestling like everybody else, but she has definitely proven herself as a a contender to me.
Yeah, for sure.
And now when I see her in a match, I would know that I'm going to get a show from her because she is a competitor. She is a
Hmm.
strong competitor, and she's fun, and she's cute, and she got a little bubble. So that's
Hmm.
nice to look at, but yeah, yeah. Lola then she done made a fan out of me. She
Yeah,
done
I I gotta give I gotta give Lola Vice her new nickname. In the words of Pimp C and Bun B, they are UGK. She is the UG Queen. UG Queen, Underground Queen. She's the queen of these underground matches, and
yeah,
she has had the two best underground matches that I've seen. Natty and now Shayna Baszler. I think they have finally got the direction and the character down to a T with her. And like you were
yeah,
saying, I love the cockiness. I love the showboating. I love the dancing and all of that. This is like, reminds me of, like, even how like a Chad Johnson was in the NFL, just having
yes.
fun there, being lighthearted with stuff. So I'm excited for it all, and looks like we got Clark back in here. What's going on, bruh?
My bad. I don't even know how that happened, but yeah, no, I'm totally with you on the Lola Vice thing. Like, I mean, and it's funny because knowing her MMA reputation, right? That was kind of her reputation in MMA. It was like, oh, this girl that likes to dance, likes to have fun, is all smiley or whatever. Can she be tough? Can she hang when it comes to the sport, right? And she proved it. She could. She
Yes,
does,
she
right?
For
has.
And
sure.
just because she likes to have fun and just because that's who she is personality wise doesn't mean she can't, hold it up on the other end of the on the other end of the equation when it comes to the fight, right? And
This is for you,
definitely
bro.
showed that. Now, Nikita, don't you talk about Nikita Lyons like that. That's a
This is for
different.
you.
That's kickboxing. That's kickboxing. That's different.
He want her to
We're,
get her
we'll
head
get
kicked,
into that later.
move
We'll
knocked
get into
off.
that later. We'll discuss that one on a different day. But Nikita would
Yeah,
knock her out. Seriously, Nikita, ice cold.
sure about that.
KO for
Mm,
days. Head
Sure about
kick,
that.
done. Head kick, see ya. 100%. 100%. I know it.
Clark is gonna lose money on that match.
Nah, she's
He's
the
gonna
better
lose
striker.
money.
Well, I'm talking shoot fighting. Talking shoot. If it's a shoot, Nikita throws that head kick. It's game.
We'll have to wait and
Um,
see, man. We'll have to wait and see.
but let's talk about speaking of shoot fighting. This one looked like one from a physicality standpoint. Triple threat of the year. I thought we already had one. We may have another
Mm,
candidate. We're catching flying humans. That's apparently a new thing that Obafemi's invented. Yeah, no, like adult male humans are flying through the air and Oba just catches them and then redirects their flight path. Um,
Insane.
it was like air traffic control on steroids. Like you can't just be slamming adult men like that. That's like
it don't make
Wesley.
it don't
Wesley
make
has a
sense.
family.
I mean, even coffee too. Coffee a
Coffee's
bigger
got
boy
him.
too.
Coffee's like 270. Like
Yeah, and he's
what
chucking
in the
him like
world is going on here?
he's chucking him like a toddler, bro.
Oba
Like,
Femi's out here dribbling them both like basketballs in one of the best triple threat
he
matches I've
was.
seen all year. It
He
was
was.
outlandish. He literally was. Oba Femi is so dominant. I don't know how you don't push this guy to the moon. Like we compared him to about 15 different stars recently, but I don't know many people that have the strength and the ability that Obafemi has Also, in this short time, the guy can pro wrestle. Every single match, he can sell. He can play both ends of the coin. I
Yep.
don't know where I see the flaw, Megan. Do you see anything with Obafemi that doesn't say straight to the moon?
No, no, just just looking at him, he is to me the ultimate powerhouse. And like, I mean, first I just want to take a little detour and just say, I have to agree with Shad. Gallus is boring. They are.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. I try my best. I really just watched the match for Oba and Wesley because I have been rooting for Wesley when he first returned from his injury and he was going back to retain his title, dealing with Mustafa, dealing with Dominique, and then he got injured again. And really, the match was for between them two. In my book, I wasn't even paying the other guy much attention, but um, just watching Oba and his matches, it's hard to not just admire his physique, admire his strength, admire how he could effortlessly like pick up these men 200 plus and just
Yeah.
throw them across the ring or throw them into each other. It's he he's going to have such a fulfilling career just based on that talent alone. And during that match, I tweeted Triple H, probably won't see it, but I definitely told him I need to see Oba and Omos. I don't know
Oh,
when, I don't know how, I don't know if it's possible, but I need to see two Nigerian giants
yep.
just face off. I want them to size each other up. I want the whole the same level that you did for Omos and Braun Strowman
Yep.
and Omos and Brock Lesnar, that just that sizing up. I want that for them too. So
I
I need to see
love
that.
I love that call, Megan.
Megan, I'm giving you a notebook and a
Yes.
pen. You are officially on the booking team for
I
No,
need
NXT
to see
now.
it. I need to
dead
see it.
seriously too.
Yeah,
It's one of those like you think about Omos's size and the
yeah,
visual, like you said, of them sizing up. I think Obafemi, above all other athletes in that category that could be opposite Omos,
Hmm.
with his size and athleticism, his ability to go from moving slow to moving fast, like his
yes.
explosiveness next to Omos in the ring with Omos
I
is the
want to see
spot
him.
to
I
feature.
want to see
It's
him gorilla.
just like
I want to see him gorilla press on my dog.
it would
That
just be
would
look
be
at
amazing.
Bobby's even with us on this. Wow, like
Wow.
yeah, that's kind of almost I don't
Just
want to
that,
say no brainer stuff, but it's
like
like
even like yeah, even if it's not a match per se, like we just need an on camera interaction between them two just to see them two acknowledging each other, seeing how the audience respond to it. They're going the audience know what they want. They're going to want to
yep,
see that. They're going to want to see a possibility of Brock suplexing Big Show, ring breaking down. Like they want to see how far you could push the wrestlers, to this in this current time. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean
Well,
that's
so
that's a fight.
so to Nick Cologne's comment, right? He's saying that
yeah,
Omos Oba would need to carry it. I think the stigma of Omos being like that bad of a worker is a little far fetched by
I think
people,
so
man. I
too.
think that was the cool thing to do when he initially started. Him and
Hmm.
Brock should silence a lot of doubters on that, and that's a similar. That's why I like your idea a lot. Oba reminds me of
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. Like he
Yes.
reminds me of. I haven't felt excited about a phenomenon, a big, powerful, strong like wrestler since Brock. Really,
Oba's
to
a
be honest.
Yeah.
creative character, right? You don't.
Yeah,
It's like even in playing the video game, Shad, right? And like you play the video game, you create a WWE superstar, right? They
yeah,
limit your speed and strength based on how much size you give them.
yeah. He's 99 on all.
You couldn't create Obafemi in the
Yeah,
Right.
game. They actually nerf it so that you would be limited. You couldn't make
Mm.
somebody that strong and fast.
yeah. He's that damn good. Like there's not any exaggeration to it. Like in ring
No.
ability, he doesn't miss on these matches. He's like a triple threat goat so far this year. And then you talk about the character. That dude speaks like he is like a tribal like warrior, like the leader of like you want to go to war for him. Like
Yeah.
he could lead a pack. Like for when you need to go into war, like he's got a crazy amount of potential that is untapped too. And I'm telling you, do not be surprised if this man is a main event in Manias in the next couple years.
I
Like
mean,
it,
I can see that.
he's got
I
a
can
lot
see
of, to
that.
me, like Batista. He's got a
yeah,
ton of Batista in
I can see
him,
Batista. He
like a
could
ton
talk,
of
bro. He
Batista.
can talk.
And then he can really talk too. But Batista could talk.
Like
Batista was a good
no,
talker.
Batista can talk too, but I don't know. It's like I be having a. I'm like splitting hairs because
It's
I don't
hard
know
to
what I like.
compare.
I don't know what I like better about Obafemi. The fact that he's so like he's so clean cut on a mic. Like he speaks so powerful. Like it's like he's
Yeah.
giving you a speech every single time, a motivational speech like Ray Lewis in the huddle, or it's the fact that he is just an absolute phenom when it comes to strength and power and agility and all of that. And he's
I,
working different styles of people.
I
And
said it. I said it early when I saw him, Shad. He's one of those guys that if at a bar he bumped into me and spilled my drink, I'd buy him a new one and say sorry.
yep. And
Yeah. Don't fight
I'd
one
him.
buy him a new
Don't
one and
fight
say it
him.
was
Play
one
dead.
my
Play
fault. It's
dead.
my fault, man. I'm
one
sorry.
one thing before we get to the main event for our show.
Yes.
Um the Wesley getting jumped in the back by Gallus, right? It only puts the thought in my mind
Yes.
when we're talking about this forbidden door uh phenom with the TNA. I'm really hoping it's the
Yes.
Rascals versus Gallus. Like we really need the Rascals versus
I've
Gallus. We
seen
need it.
that a lot online. I
Yeah,
think that's what the people want.
and if it's not like we need to do that for
Trios.
Wesley. Yeah, that six person match because that's Wesley. Man, I have an immense amount of respect for him because that man was put in a position where a lot of people would have sunk. Like he would have drowned
Yeah.
with being because he got signed as a tag team guy. He got forced to be a single star, and Vic Joseph said it many times a day. He may be the greatest NXT North American champion that they've had in regards to the title reign. He's someone that has had a historic reign and did a lot of single stars. So kudos to him, man. It'll be dope to see him reunite with his brothers in that feud if we can get that to happen.
Oh, the Rascals, that would be, I'm all over that. I think it's a great call. And it's fun. And by the way, you guys got overtime here. We are already overtime on the show. So let's get to our main event topic here.
For
Let's
sure.
talk about Roxanne Perez and Jordan Grace. Crazy match, pop rocks, finish, crossover talent. We were talking crossover talent earlier. This is one of those things that's fascinating. This one, as much as Roxanne got the W, the shenanigans on the side there,
Hmm.
the
Mm.
shenanigans on the side there lend
Hmm.
me to believe that we're not quite done here. That's at least
Hmm.
No.
my own personal opinion. Megan, I got to ask you, are you in the same boat there?
Oh yeah. This is our forbidden door. This is WWE's forbidden door. That match alone kind of opened the paths for WWE and TNA. And to see one of my favorites back, Dana Brooks, also known as
Ash by Elegance.
Ash by Elegance. I can't get into that name. I'm gonna still call her Dana. That's
It's
Dana.
Dana
She's
Brooke.
forever Dana to me. Um, but just seeing Tatum, Ash, you know, Roxanne and Jordan, and these are four different women, two different companies, and they're all like, well, except for Roxanne, but they're all gunning for Jordan's belt. And maybe I'm looking too far into it, but I am hoping that we see Jordan more in a more permanent position with WWE. I'm hoping that that is a foreshadowing that she will be back. And not only are they allowing her to wrestle in WWE, but they also allowing WWE wrestlers to seemingly challenge her for her title as well. And if you can have that crossover where you do have a WWE talent with a TNA as the
Yep.
TNA knockout champion, um, that will just it will give such an endless amount of possibilities for reunions and feuds and just combining these two companies together along with UFC kind of lingering
Yep.
around, that the aura being there, um and of course stardom and
Yep.
other things. But just seeing the number of possibilities with just that match alone, just with those women coming out alone, I'm excited. I want to see Jordan back in the WWE ring, you know. But I don't. I guess my question is, do you think Tatum is going to challenge Jordan for the belt?
That's
Yeah.
what I was about to say. Is here is my question is not just that, because I think it's nearly inevitable personally. Of course, that's why she
Hmm.
grabbed it. Which
Yeah,
show? Which show?
it's
Does she
Friday.
challenge on Tuesday or does she challenge on Thursday?
I mean, that's a good
And
question.
that's fascinating, right? What do you think there, Megan? You got an early pick before I
Um,
ask Shad?
mm, I think, well, we have seen enough TNA wrestlers kind of show up in a WWE ring, so I could see Tatum popping up
Tatum.
on Thursday. I could see her popping up on Thursday for sure.
I love that because that's exactly the page that I'm on. I think, no pun intended on Ethan Page on that one, but Thursday night is the night we're going to see Tatum Paxley make this call. Now,
I'm
Shad,
saying it.
you introduced Tatum Tuesdays. Are we about to
Yes.
see Tatum Thursdays or what?
It should be Tatum Thursdays. And Tatum Paxley, without a doubt, should be the knockout women's champion because she deserves what she wants, which is gold. Gold is the most important thing. And I am a kind hearted person. So, Tatum Paxley, if you are watching, I'm handing you my fantasy football belt. You can have it. I know
No.
that gold means a lot to you. This belt is yours now. We will send it to your PO box, and you can be the fantasy football league
That's
champion.
the
Just
one
like
that Trish Stratus held.
Tatum
Mm.
Paxley is a more prominent role in anything than that Trish Stratus has done.
Oh,
And she's a better wrestler than Will Ospreay and Okada. Anyways, back to the main event.
what? What?
No,
What?
Megan, it's a gimmick. Just let him go. He's rolling.
Just let me cook, Megan. Let me cook. Um, I really
Let him
like. I
go. He's
really.
rolling.
Oh man, I love that reaction. By the way, it reminded me
Just
when I said
excuse
that
me.
about. Uh, oh man, you made me
Oh,
break
caught me off
kayfabe for a.
guard.
You
I'm
made me.
sorry. That
And
oh
Okada.
I,
that threw me.
I broke
Mm.
kayfabe for a second. This was a really good. This was a very well wrestled match, between Roxanne Perez and Jordan Grace. Roxanne showing us week upon week why she is like so much better at this in-ring wrestling stuff than a lot of women main roster or NXT. And her and Grace was like just it felt cool because Roxanne is so good in ring and she goes against people that are fairly green. I think she felt like I'm going against someone that's gonna, that's gonna push me to the limit and that can go with me. And I thought they delivered a great match. Uh, the end was a lot of shenanigans. It was okay with me because it did progress stuff that can move in for the TNA part, and it kept Jordan Grace somewhat, protected in a sense. Um, I think the go ahead move is Tatum Paxley versus Jordan Grace, not this Thursday, but this Friday at Against All Odds with Jordan Grace's open challenge.
Mm.
I think that'd be the best move, and I think integrating NXT talent also to
Ooh.
the TNA side is a very very smart move on their behalf because you need to push the envelope that can help benefit the NXT talent too. These are young wrestlers that could benefit working with a lot of veteran, like Tatum being fairly new into the business, and working with someone like a Jordan Grace in a title match on a pay per view. Like that's gonna help her get more eyes on her and benefit her. So I'm definitely excited. I gotta say, man, Ash by Elegance being called Ash by Elegance on WWE television blew my mind because we are really riding this. This is really the portal because when she left the portal to go to
Mm-hmm.
TNA, she's become Ash by Elegance. Dana Brooke is no longer here. She is somewhere trademarked in the Connecticut office, looking for a new person to take her name. But all in all, man, it was a great match. It delivered to my opinion, and hey, man, women's wrestling is thriving on NXT.
I'm with you, although I will say, wait till Nick Nemeth cruises through the unavailable avenue. It's
That's
gonna
what
be
I was.
wild.
That's what I
The
was saying
fans are
too.
gonna go crazy.
Um.
I'm
Oh,
kidding.
and also this, I definitely agree with Megan on this standpoint where, man, Jordan Grace just looks like she belongs in WWE. Like
She
she's got
does.
she's got the
She does.
I hate the word
She
aura.
does.
Je ne sais quoi. Sorry, I
Yeah,
can't speak French, but that was the best I could do.
but she walks in with like the swagger of like how a lot of like a WWE superstar like walks in with, and like like back to what I was saying. This is why I like these small crowds. These people watch wrestling and they are familiar with her, and they're gonna give her the
Mm-hmm.
due diligence and you know cheer. Like she was really over. There was TNA chants and all that.
No joke. Honestly, there was a debate to be had that she was the fan favorite in that building, and
Yeah,
that wasn't that large of a building.
Yes.
You know
yeah,
Yeah.
what I mean? Like there was an argument to be made that she was the one being cheered throughout the match, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
but okay, no, and seriously, we could talk about this for the rest of the night. We've had an absolute blast, but that does actually bring us to the end of the show. We are way up against the clock. We went bonus time for everybody. I gotta thank my esteemed colleagues for sure for putting in the work, basically 12 hours apart. Shadi and Megan, most importantly, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody who tuned in, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to us. Go check out Sunday Spotlight if you haven't already. You've missed out.
Do that.
But the good news is it's still up there. You can watch it all week. Watch it on the way to work tomorrow if you have to.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. Listen to it. Actually, though, don't watch it. Don't drive and watch. Don't do that. That's not what I said. Either way, that does bring us to the end of the show. NXT Battleground, all of it. Thank you from Wrestling Republic. Tune in tomorrow, daily broadcast, noon Pacific. It's 3 in the East Coast. That's 8 in the UK. That's, of course, 9 a.m. in Hawaii. Everybody have an excellent Sunday night. All love from us. Talk to everybody soon.